started, yes. It is now showing. It is now live.
Test, test, test. Welcome back from dinner, everybody. Tonight is going to be our second annual or third annual lightning talks. The way the lightning talk works is, well, you saw this format earlier. It's 5 minutes. Usually we're pretty strict about like keeping you to 5 minutes, but we do not have a full roster of all 12 slots, so we're not going to be super strict about if you run over your time. But I'll give you a 1 minute signal when you're there, and we'll try to keep the transitions quick, but we don't have to be super crazy about that either. So we have 7 signed up for 12 slots, so we have lots of time. First up is Jeremy Rand. You want to get in this one?
It's already operable. The earpiece is on the left, unless you just want to hold it. Perfect. If you're giving one of these talks and want to opt for a handheld mic, that's also possible. Just to let us know.
Turns you on, you're on.
Am I on? I'm on. Yeah. That's okay. Okay. Okay, well, I think I can get started while it's warming up. Surprise, I'm talking about Xcode again. This is the third lightning talk I've given on Xcode. And last year I talked to 8-bit. This year I'm going to talk 16-bit. So GS stuff. I demoed this a couple years ago when I introduced it. And I had C templates for kind of all the kind of basic GS targets. And I now have OrcaM targets also. So you can do an OrcaM CDA desktop application. But what I'd like to show is the C desktop application, because I've really extended it. It's a superset. It's more involved than the OrcaM one. So here, let's give it a name. And oh, look, I can select the desktop resolution right here in the project, right at the start. And I can choose to support or not support Message Center, which is like opening files from the Finder, right there. So do that, put it here, and here's our project. And there's more code. And build and run, and it'll launch the emulator. What I've done is I use a text edit control to make kind of a more full-featured application that supports, so there's an about, but I can say new, and here I just threw in hello world, because why not? And I can put another line in here. I can try to close it, and it'll say, well, do you really want to do that? And I'm going to say cancel, or I can save it, test file, and it saves, and I can open it again, and it opens. I can modify it, and I can try to close it, and I can say no, and that didn't change it. And I can go back here, I can double click that opens. I can go back here and I can ask it to print it, which is a weird feature in Finder, and it'll actually try to, and I don't have a printer, so I'm not gonna do that. So a desktop application, pretty full-featured, and like I said, I've also got Orca stuff. So I've got the assembler covered, I got the compiler covered, everybody's happy, right? Everybody loves OrcaM. Correct? There's no dissent on that. Some people don't like OrcaM. I might be one of them. I've done some OrcaM and I'm not, but I've got something new. You like Merlin? Well, let's see what this does. So let's go back to Xcode. We'll create a new project. Well, there's something new. There's 4 new Merlin targets here. So Merlin CDA. Let's do these quick. We'll create it. Here's the Merlin assembly. Build and run that. Here's our emulator. Go to the control panel, Merlin. There we are, Merlin. So that's a CDA. Next, let's do a control panel. Merlin control panel, Merlin CDEV. Here's the code for that. These are funky because the code ends up in a resource. You can build and run that. And it's right in here, control panel, Merlin. Here we can get help, and you can open it. And that's the control panel. Next one, let's do a Merlin desktop. So this one, I don't have support, just so there's a Orca M. You can select the desktop resolution here. Let's do 320, because we did the other one here. But I don't have Message Center. This is a much simpler kind of template. It doesn't have a whole lot of stuff in it, but has enough to kind of get you going. Build and run that. And here's our 320 mode desktop application. And the last one I've got for Merlin is a new desk accessory. Next, Merlin NDA. And I think I misspelled it, but doesn't much matter. And there's code. Here's the Merlin code for that. Build and run that. And there you are. So, Orca C, Merlin, Orca M, basic templates for all of them. You can get up and running pretty quick. And some of you may say, I want to use this, but I don't have a Mac. I hate Xcode. I don't know, something like that. So we can do that. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not sure it sunk in, so I'm going to show you real quick. Desk test. Oh, I've got to go in one more layer. Here, it's just make clean, make, execute. It's make. You know, if you want to do it on Linux or Windows or something that consumes make, you can. Little work. And that's it. Yes, sorry, real quick. Even for Merlin, you need Calvin Sherlock's Golden Gate because it uses the resource compiler from Orca, and you need Orca. So you still need it. So Ken, where do you get it? You get it from Ken, from Juice.js. So thank you. Randemonium.com with a dash between rand and emonium.
Next up, we have Chris Kenaway.
Okay, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yep. All right, I need this. All right, so I'm going to attempt to explain how colors work in high-res and double high-res graphics. If you've ever played with this, you probably know there's all sorts of crazy rules about what colors you can put next to each other, and then you try and follow them, and you find that you don't get what you expect anyway because they interfere, and you get fringing and whatnot. So what's going on? So we'll start with monochrome first, and I'll start with double high-res because actually it's simpler from this point of view. So double high-res has 560 dots across the line. And in memory, the high bit of every byte is ignored. So only 7 bits from every byte map directly to 7 dots on the screen. The tricky part is that sequences of 7 dots come from auxiliary and main memory. So it goes aux main, aux main, aux main. And 40 bytes from each, 40 plus 40 is 80, 80 times 7 is 560. So in pictures, we have a byte from aux memory, we ignore the high bit, and the other 7 bits, we normally write them increasing right to left, but in screen order they go from left to right. And then following on, we have a byte from main from the same memory address, same thing, and they just lay out across the line like that. Okay, so high res. High res also has 560 dot resolution, but the catch is you can't turn on every dot independently. Bits 0 through 5 in every memory address turn on 2 dots, and bit 6 actually turns on 3 dots. But that third dot might be overwritten by the next byte. It's sort of stamped over the top. I'll have a picture next slide. And then bit 7 has the effect of shifting all of the dots from that byte right by 1 position. So here's a picture. Bit 7 is off here, and like before, we read these bytes from left to right to left here, but they're actually doubled, so 1, 1, 0, 0, and so on. Bit 6 is tripled, but then it's overwritten by the neighboring byte because it also has palette bit 0. But if palette bit is 1, then this second byte is shifted to the right, and we actually see that third byte. This will come important later. Okay, colors. Let's think like a TV. We're going to scan left to right across the screen, and there's a color reference signal which has the same, it completes one complete phase in the same time as we scan 4 dots across the screen. So this is an analog process, it's continuous, but there's a simple way to understand this in a more binary digital format. It's only an approximation though, which is important to keep in mind. Okay, so we have 4 dots across the screen. They can have 16 values. These give 16 colors on the screen. So these are the colors you get. It's the same colors for high res and double high res, but the double high res is actually shifted left by one position because of a timing difference in the signal. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, 16 high res colors, what's going on? I'll come back to that. Okay, here's an example. So suppose we have this sequence of dots on the screen, and above it I've written the values of the clock, so that we have a clock that goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So the first dot, we have all zeros. We don't have to shift them at all to get to line up with the clock, and that gives us a black pixel. Moving right, we have 0, 0, 0, 1, but now we have to put the 1, which is here, back in the clock 0 position. So we have 1, 0, 0, 0. That gives us this purple color. Moving right again, we have 0, 0, 1, 1. We shift the 0 and 1 back into their positions. We have 1, 1, 0, 0. That gives us violet, and so on. And this is what happens when you store a violet pixel on the high-res screen. So we see not just a violet pixel, but also some fringing either side of it. And that's what you'd see on the screen. So here's the same violet pixel. If we do the same thing for green, we again see some fringing. And if you put them next to each other, they combine to get white. They interfere. And so we get a white pixel here with some high-intensity colors on the screen. Visually, this looks more like an extended white pixel, but that's an approximation here. Okay, so there's only 6 high-res colors, right? Well, if you read this, I learned this in this book, Sather, which is very, very comprehensive, also a little bit difficult to understand. You can actually get 14 of the 16 colors at byte boundaries if you do this game where you shift the palette bit and overwrite. So here's an example. So suppose we have an odd byte with palette bit turned off and the corresponding even byte with the palette bit turned on. So here's an example where this third bit, which is normally hidden, becomes visible, and if you follow the procedure before, you actually get a yellow pixel at the boundary there. So there we go. And yeah, that's all I have. Thanks. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you for that. That was the most concise explanation I've ever seen of that. That was awesome. Next we have Ivan X.
How do I do this again? Oh, there we go. What? Great. Thank you, sir. Yeah. That's where I'm going to put it. I don't have video. Maybe it would help if I attached the HDMI cable to my. Oh, maybe it would help if I went up and got the adapter. Unless the. You may have it. USB-C to HDMI. Sure. Thank you, Steve. Oh, cool. Really? Well, ain't that slick? Okay, so anyway, over the last year, this is something that is only peripherally Apple II related, but it is somewhat Apple II related. Over the last year, I have gotten very into writing and composing and singing homemade music, mostly using Logic, and in particular, I have been, because Instagram, which is where all the cool kids are, imposes a 1-minute limit, I've taken to embracing that and writing 1-minute songs. So then I have to, so after I produce a 1-minute song, then I have to come up with some little bit of video entertainment for it. So on a couple of those, I have used Apple II for graphics and video content. The first one I'm going to play for you is just, there's nothing very sophisticated going on here. It's just the kaleidoscope demo from the 1979 System Master. And in fact, the kaleidoscope on the integer disc versus the AppleSoft disc is slightly different, and there's both in there. And then there's also some editing out of the boring parts. And then the second one you will see is Prince lyrics out across the team, and the screen is literally just a bunch of print statements in AppleSoft, and then I kept trying to calibrate the speed equals AppleSoft command to regulate the flow of text to get mostly into sync with the music. So I'm not necessarily expecting you to like these. My music, for the most part, is I've been told is abrasive. So I don't think these are among my more abrasive, although the first one is a little. But anyway, I just wanted to share it with you because I was putting the Apple II to work in the service of this. This one is called Hear Me, and then after that I'll just switch over and I'll play the other one, which is called Zones. Was that right? Is that out of this computer, or where's that coming from?
I think it's coming from the projector.
Oh, it's coming from the projector, so I probably need to set my HDMI. I need to set my audio out to not use HDMI.
It might be
Output.
okay just going out of the projector.
Headphones. All right. Yeah, you say that. You didn't. If it's too loud, I'll turn it. Well, you have controls over the volume, right? Martin's. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? At all. At all. Thanks. All right, and here's the other one. Oh, I gave away the end of the beginning. That's all right.
There are 26 time zones and not 24. Noon in Line Islands is Hawaii noon the day before. India and Newfoundland have special power, cause their time zone is off by a half hour. Nepal, Eucla, Chatham Island are 15 minutes off if you can find them. Arizona has no daylight savings. All these time zones, the railroads made them. Our days aren't long enough, so every 4 years we take a leap. Except once a century, that extra day the year gets to keep.
That's it. Thank you.
And next, Charles Mangan.
Mic, but now I'm on. Ooh, okay. Let's see if this probably got it upside down. It's caught in my ear. All right, so what I have here in front of me is an Apple IIe with a super serial card and a few other little bits and bobs, but for the purposes of this demonstration, it is an Apple IIe with a super serial card and a CFFA for disk drive access. So it has a hard drive, essentially. And on top of it is my MacBook Pro. Connected between the two is, it may look like a custom piece of hardware because it is, but it's been dumbed down to be a simple USB to serial converter. So imagine a Logitech USB to serial converter, and that's what this is doing. So first of all, I'm going to fire up on my laptop ADT Pro. You can't see it because it's behind the curtain here, but that's what I'm doing. If I can find it. Yeah, the window that I have ADT Pro in. And it is running the virtual serial drive, basically the server for the virtual serial drive. Which is not, there we go, okay. Virtual serial drive, and on the Apple II is the client for the virtual serial drive, which should come up right now. So I can, need the comma there. I knew I had it. There's one. And now you can see that it has, through the miracle of science, it has mounted a hard drive image that's hosted on my Mac through the serial port with the magic of ADT Pro and virtual serial drive, but that's not what I'm demonstrating. That you could do, I don't know, a few years ago. What I am going to show you,
if I can type without seeing my screen. What I am going to show you is a bunch of garbage in the low-res screen. That's not the demonstration either. This is the demonstration. So you can see me on the screen in low res in relatively real time. Okay, so here we are in basically four colors, 4 grays. And here we go, text mode. So if I get real close to the camera, you should be able to make out my face. And I'm looking this way, and I'm looking that way. And this is all, again, through the serial port. So it's running at 115 kilobaud or whatever it is, or megabaud, 115 hertz, or baud. Whatever the measurement is, it's that one. It's the high one, the most that the serial port can do. And if you have a monochrome screen, this will show up. It's mapping the colors to the intensity of the monochrome colors on the monochrome screen. So instead of it being like Predator heat vision, it will look like essentially a green grayscale image in 16 colors. And what I'm doing here is cycling through the color map because I've got it optimized for, this one's for the VidHD, this one's obviously in text, it has a text lookup table. This one has a lookup table for Virtual 2, for Open Emulator, for actual hardware with a bent for the Monitor 2, I think. And then this one is color, but it's only the 3 blues, black and white. So you've got kind of a simulated grayscale there. And then, yeah, so this is going to be running on my room door now that I have a long enough cable to go out the door and hook up to the monitor there. So this is my public demonstration of my door sign, which is going to be hanging on my door. If you want to come by and make googly eyes at it or watch some of the other videos that I've actually saved to disk of various animations that'll play in this mode, I'm in 227. How am I for time?
You hit.
Right at 5 minutes?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, you have time for a question if you want to.
I have time for one question if I want to.
So your Mac is like hammering data into the disk image, the virtual disk image?
Yes. So the what's happening on the Mac is I've got the it's trippy. I've got I've got the webcam turned on and a Python script taking frames from the video camera as fast as it can, downsampling them to 16 colors of 16 grays and to 40 by 48 pixels. And then that is getting shot through the serial port, actually is getting saved onto the virtual disk image, which the VS drive is reading over and over again the same file. And as fast as it can read that file, it's spitting bits up onto the screen. So it's doing that about, when it's, I think it's about 12 frames per second. I haven't really clocked it on in a while. That is made possible because I asked David Schmidt to turn off the caching for the VS drive server, because normally it would read the disk once and have that in memory, but I've basically turned off that caching part. So now it's rereading the disk image on this to send it. So it's sending the same block, 512 bytes at a time, over and over and over again to the serial port, because it keeps asking for that same block off the disk over and over again. So there's some heavy lifting going on the Mac, definitely, but the Apple II is doing a lot of moving of bytes around as well.
So I guess, sorry for the follow-up question, but so is the Mac opposite is not complaining about two processes trying to read the same file, or did you have to do anything special?
I didn't have to do anything special to that. The server function is basically keeping that file access open and is keeping that file open, and Python is just streaming it into the disk, and there's no, it may need to be running at root privileges or something like that, but it hasn't complained about writing to a file while it's being read. That's probably doing terrible things to the drive, now that I say that. But no, it's fine, it's fine, it's totally fine. All right, thank you.
Next up, let's see. It's just not on. Next up, we have me. And I have to find a dongle. No, it's the... It was here earlier today. It's black. Well, I've got one in my backpack. No, I don't. Oh, we need an HDMI, right?
Yes. Is that what this is?
All right, if I don't find the dongle in the next minute, I will just do it without graphics. Where did our...
Unless it got used and wandered off.
All right, I'm just going to tell you what happened on Laws Legends in the last year, and you can come look at it on my screen whenever you feel like it. Okay, so lots of, oh, you found it. Genius. Wow, that was weird. There we go. Okay, lots of people have asked me what's going on with Lawless Legends. The very short story is that Seth has 2 kids and I have 1 kid. So not as much is going on as previously. The good news is essentially the game is feature complete. All the scenario stuff is done. All the game code is done. We're kind of adding usability enhancements based on feedback from our beta tester, from our alpha testers, really. Conveniences, things like that. So I'm going to demo the things that have changed since last year. Let's load a game. Okay, so you've seen this before. I made a character named Fu. One thing, so you've seen the 3D renderer and you can turn and stuff. Some of our beta testers complain that this is, yeah, it's a cool tech demo, but it's just too slow when you just want to get somewhere in town. So there's now, you can switch the movement mode to fast mode. Now, instead of doing quarter turns, you're doing half turns, and instead of doing quarter steps, you're doing half steps. We've added story mode, so for the hard drive version of the game, you won't have to look up in a paper, a paper manual. On the floppy version, it'll say read log 36, and you page over to log 36 in your paper manual, and you read this. In the hard disk version, you'll just get the whole story here. So So you can move around town quickly. You can also switch it to classic move mode, where you turn a full 90 degrees with each step. And that's especially nice for beta testing, because you know where you want to go, and you have to go there over and over because there's a bug that you want to reproduce at that spot. So I tend to like fast mode now that I've played with it. I didn't think I would. Last thing I'm going to show you in the engine that's changed. Let's see, there's Marie. Let's go hear Marie's story. She's so sad and she wants her kitty. So now that we have met Marie, we can go into a quest log. Now the game is keeping track of the things you need to do. You don't have to keep track on a piece of paper all the things you need to do. Our next step is we need to help her find her cat. And you can hit S here to show. So the blinking orange and blue square is where we are. The blinking X is where we need to go. So we need to go roughly southwest. So this is a thing that games did not do back in the day, but modern players really want. And now that it's in there, I'm super happy it's there. Other things have changed behind the scene. We've eliminated a lot of super nasty crash bugs. There's now a record mode, so our beta testers can record their play session, and when it crashes, I can play the exact same thing back without using a time travel emulator, which are still kind of wonky, and I can reproduce that bug exactly. So we've squashed a lot of those, rewrote the random number generator, which was pretty terrible and now is pretty good. And the Outlaw editor has had some improvements to make.
Does it take any advantage of accelerators or accelerated mode and emulation?
Yes. There's been a lot of work done. So we're going to run Jace for the iOS and PC versions of this. And I'm poking special memory locations that Jace is watching for, and it turns up the emulation speed at various appropriate moments, like when the 3D rasterizer is running. So 3D mode is really quick. Also, when it changes to the various text modes, it actually shuts off the color burst on the text areas of the screen, so it's a little easier to read in emulation. That was a good question. Any other?
Will any of these improvements be incorporated into ancient legends?
A lot of the engine improvements will go straight in, obviously, but log type stuff to it, I don't know. We could, or someone else could do it, because Ancient Legends is open source. All right, I think I've used up my 5 minutes and more probably. Next up, we have Adrian Bedard.
Okay. Hi. Is that too loud? Okay, okay. So, hi, my name is Adrian, of course, and what I'm going to be presenting today is I'm just going to be talking about how it's fun being at Kansasfest and the popular game, the popular text adventure game Covered in Mirror, and how it should help people who have hard times reading, would help them read. So I'll start with Covered in Mirror, because I know all you guys would probably like that. So why I think Covered in Mirror should be a learning thing is because I'm just going to kind of sidetrack to myself. I have a very hard time reading and writing. I don't know, it's kind of like this disability thing. And so I think differently than other people. And when I heard the game covered in Mirror, where it was a text adventure plus graphics, I thought that was great. So I played it, and I actually learned a little bit more from that game because when people have hard time reading, they usually look at like what the picture is, and I do that in my decoding class, my reading class. And so I think it's a really a good game for people who have really bad disabilities because if they have a hard time reading, they can just look at the screen and figure out what that was. And then I'm going to move on. Now I'm going to move on to how it's fun being at Kansasfest. So if you couldn't make it this year, I'm sorry. My experience with Kansasfest, it's very nice. We have a lot of lovely people here, and a lot of cool people here. It's very cool to say hello to the creator of Penguin Software or Porvos out there. I think that was very cool. Also, my aunt's Oregon Trail learning thing. Yeah, I thought that was also great. The food's pretty good. It's not that bad. Yeah, but I've been loving here at Kansasfest. I think it's been one of the greatest festivals I've been at. And I just like hanging out with other nerds with this magical device. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Adrian. And last on our list, but probably not least, is Mark Pilgrim.
It is now, yeah.
Okay, so two brief updates on semi-related projects. One is will serve as the official Kansasfest announcement of the Wazaday project, which I started a few days after Kansasfest last year, which is why this is the first time you get to see it at Kansasfest. But every day since then, plus or minus a few days, I've been putting on a .waz image, which, as you may have heard, is a new disk image format coming out of the Applesauce project, which encapsulates all of the original copy protection, structural, runtime, copy protection, so you have a more authentic experience of what it was like to run the original disk without any crack screens or any additional conversions required. So we have a fair number of these now. And thanks to the MAME project and Jason Scott at the Internet Archive, you can click almost all of these and play them in your browser. I don't know if I have enough bandwidth to actually do that, but we're going to try it. Okay, so the other thing, hey, look, it's downloading. Okay, that's great. The other thing, oh my God, it's actually launching already. Okay, hey, look at that. No sound effects in the browser, sadly. But there you have it, the original copy-protected version of Hard Hat Mac in your browser from a .waz file. Okay, that's pretty cool. So the other thing is that Passport still exists, and as you can tell by the version number, this is a stable release. It was just released. The stable version, latest version, was released on June 16th of 2019, so like about a month ago. And the thing that we are cracking here is part of the Passport test suite, which is another separate set of WAS files and the DSK files that Passport creates from them, and the log files, which is the text output that it generates as it deprotects. And these are all, this is all on GitHub. It's passport-test suite. And it's all driven automatically through MAME with a Lua script that you can set as the MAME auto boot script, I think is the name of the parameter. But basically you can tell the MAME emulator locally, not in your browser, but locally you can say, hey, run this script, and the script takes care of reading the directory of .waz files and inserting, creating and then inserting a new .dsk file, and then literally it just emu key post C to press C, and then waits for Passport to do its thing, and then saves out all the files. And so you can, in about 5 minutes, you can run through the 111 .waz files in the Passport test suite, which, and this is part of the Passport source code. This is for a particular, this is the patcher for a particular nibble check, it's tested on blah blah, here we go. And then if you actually go into the source code, you'll see comments like these here at this branch point. This particular WAS file in the Passport test suite has C equals 0. And at this branch point, this other WAS file has C equals 0. And so we can notate that we have code coverage for all of these different variants, all of these different possible cracks. The process of creating the test suite uncovered a whole slew of bugs, which are now fixed. So that's great. Testing is great. Passport is great. Here's all the new things, blah, blah, blah. You can download it on GitHub, blah, blah. Okay, now we're back to the emulator. Okay, crack complete. Let's go. Oh, hey, it was Choplifter. We're going to go find that disk. It was in here, and there it is. And you can mount it, and then boot the automatically cracked version of Choplifter.
That's cool.
It is not Spiradisk, it is spiral tracking, written by Roland Gustafson. This particular module to convert, to crack it automatically, was written by Peter Ferry, who is sitting in the back, who came up with a marvelous way of reusing a lot of our existing code within Passport, so we didn't have to add a whole lot of bytes just for Choplifter and the dozen or 2 dozen other disks that use the same protection. But it is completely automatic, as you just saw. And that's my 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That is it for our sign-ups. Anybody else been hacking a thing you want to do in 5 minutes while you were listening? Okay, we're going to call it a wrap, and I think our next scheduled event is Jason's marathon at 8? Okay, so this will give Jason some extra time to set that up, which is probably good.
things, so that's fine. I understand all the Metamucil's upstairs, but we have to spike the Metamucil down here, and then they'll come. Anyway, so this has never been attempted before at a Kansasfest, and I'm trying to do this kind of a template, and it was an experiment to say, well, people really love Apple IIs, and they talk a lot about the theories and stuff, but fundamentally there's something very fun about an Apple II arcade game, or playing stuff, or getting involved in things. And so I thought, I always liked this thing called the Omegathon, which is held at PAX, and the way that they did was they came up with this idea of the ultimate warrior. And what they would do is throughout their weekend, their 4-day event, they would have 10 people, and at regular junctures, the entire event, they would have a televised head-to-head fight over games. And they wouldn't tell people what the games were until the big reveal, not unlike a cooking show or something where they're cooking an ingredient. So the idea was, we are now about to play blank, and then they suddenly have to be as good at that as possible, and whoever survives it goes on to that. They lose a person each round, I think it was. But what it comes down to is not expecting what's going on. So I thought, well, that would be kind of fun here. Now, we're not really together enough for us to like have machines and do this every 3 hours or whatever. That doesn't seem to be in the spirit of it. So we thought, let's just condense it down to 1 hour, and let's make it a series of games to which I have, thanks to Thomas Green, who helped us duplicate it, double check it, make sure that the things said what they were, helped me with the labeling and stuff. I have here 40 discs plus 2 bonus discs. And the 2 bonus discs are, we'll see how that goes. To do that, I'm going to need 2 machines that have joysticks and or paddles. We have 1, we'll see if we get the 2. So good, then that's how we're going to do it. Chris, could you please hook those 2 together and see if that pushes out the signal. So what we have done is we have created a series of discs. There are 10 discs representing 10 different Apple II classics. These are all pulled from stock rips of Apple II games. They have not been modified. They have not been turned to make them quote unquote harder. They are simply the famous games of the Apple II era. And you, as a warrior, are going to be playing them. Now, originally my plan was to have everybody play serially in the same order. The advantages of that is that as each person beats things, we see them going along. But a part of me feels like maybe we should do it that you start out and you get it and you can actually choose to switch off because you don't know you're doomed, to get you to be always playing, as opposed to leaving one person stuck in the mud while everybody else is going past them just because they happen to have a difficulty with one game. Do we have an opinion on that? Hands up if you want to force the warriors to go serially, and hands down if you want them to be able to choose the games as they go, trying to finish all 9. Okay, so 2 serials and a bunch of no. So we're going to go with no this time for this variation. Again, this is, the nice thing about competitions is that you can try other approaches next time. The other situation, which I, of course, forgot about, is one of the games doesn't just a little bit, but requires a joystick. So my plan is the 2 warriors who get through all 9 games then have to go head-to-head on the final mystery game that requires a joystick. There's no vote on that, that's what's happening. But and again, I want feedback on this thing. I would love to take a shot at Bite the Bag's crown for being a part of the Apple II experience at Kansasfest. So I'm setting these things up. How many machines do we have? Only 4. 4 apples in a room is paradise on earth. That white plug at your feet. So I'm going to be calling this, I'm going to be doing the 16 color commentary, as we call it. And there we go. We have number 1, We have number 2. We have number 3. We have number 4. And we have number 5. Now, if we cannot settle a 5th machine in a reasonable amount of time, I don't know. Is somebody grab? I mean, yeah, sure, yes. Apple IIe preferred? We're already in 2C hell anyway. We might as well make it darker and hotter. All right, so, well, okay, and so how many people here have any glancing interaction with the esports world? Okay, all right. Take hopscotch and add liquor and a level of jerkiness you've never seen before on Earth. Wait. So the thing about esports is that the hell is this thing? Does that actually have the capability of, oh my goodness. Okay, can you turn that off, please? Is it possible, wait, can you turn that off? I've never wanted a projector to talk to me. I simply assumed for a moment that was it. That was the heart attack. I knew it was going to come at some point. That's what you hear, and then you're down. Anyway, the esports world is full of those little annoying arguments about this, that, and the other thing. The fact that one of these machines may be a little bit faster than the other, or the fact that some of them have a better joystick or a cleaner keyboard or whatever. And we are all friends here. If we truly, honestly are going to take it that seriously, we are going to create and force competition machines that are kept carefully locked away and are the agreed upon, and I don't want that world at all. Well, that's how you get the YouTube clicks, Chris. So, again, we're going to get this thing here, we're going to set this up, and the idea is I can record that so that we have that for the recording, and then those our YouTube friends can deal with the things. I'm going to keep this down here. So, since we're going to go with you can go with anything, I'm instead then going to read, and don't call out what you think it is, the 9 hints that have each been written on each part. And then I'm going to go into the rules. But the 9 hints are, get lamp, learn everything about the disk drive, lose to the eagle, complete mission 1, dig yourself out of 1 round, get into the cave, no magic, slither to round 2, serve 2 complete rounds, buckle that swash to 20. So in each case, you were to take it. In general, when I say things like rounds, we're looking for you to finish a round. And some people are going to be extremely good at their rounds, and some people aren't, and we're going to see how that is. This could go for an hour. This may go for 10 minutes. It's of course, as you know, it's always some people have just a inherent beauty when it comes. You've seen them, if you've ever seen some of these shows where they make people climb obstacle courses, you can be like, this person slams through it in 30 seconds, and then somebody else, they could die in an old age home hoping that it'll go. So I'm going to set these in front of the machines. And again, I encourage cheering. I don't know if trash talking is super necessary, but what did we think? What did we think was going to happen anyway? So each of these goes to the person. As the person finishes, they should probably hold it up or put it behind them, maybe a volunteer behind people. They can just hold it to a person behind them to hold it so they don't get confused. If somebody sees something that seems problematic, if you see something, say something.
All right, somebody got a spare monitor.
A spare monitor?
The night owl's not playing nice.
Where will we get Apple II hardware at this time of night? Oh my goodness. So it's, he just ran into the night. We're never going to see him again. He's gone. Are there Are there any questions from the audience? Are there any needs for clarification of these kinds of rules? Is it what? The 2C cam is not a question, sir. Is there anybody who has a question that has a question mark at the end? It is not, yes.
Sky blue.
Sky is blue because of the low spectrum move through the particles from the sunlight. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the happy angels who are crying and smiling at us. Whichever, choose your poison. That's working. Oh.
In my experience, it stays unless the machine powered off.
Wait. I am very excited for us to explore the wonder of the way that the Apple works. So, yeah, no, I understand that. That's easy. That's the easy part. Did we swap out a contestant? Have you been swept? Are you officially acceding over to back up Adrian? Okay. All right. All right. Well, it appears that we have our first pinch hitter. Oh, no. Kid, don't sit in the seat if you don't want to run the company. There you go. That's a good life philosophy. If you can't fix it, it's always been like that. All right, so I'm sitting. Is anybody here got the red lanyard? Because I am, okay. I'm going to do my best here. She's sitting over here. I will try my absolute utmost, and I will review all footage. This will be, I will do my best. If no, we are not streaming live yet. Are we? What do you? You're a terrible person. Anyway, all right, good. All right, so. Well, no, that's fine. Okay, so that's where we are. I will absolutely endeavor to make sure my camera does not go backwards. And if I have to be in a shot, I don't have to. It's going to be all voice. So this is going to be like a really, really creepy tape. Anyway, so what? Not my first. Definitely not my last. All right, so let's see how magical thing. How does this thing? Let's see how this little guy. Good. We are now on this thing, and we are on here. What? Oh, I would love to learn to make movies. Where do I go to school for that? And we have, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contestants, the very first contestants for what we now call Marathon. I'm your host, Jason Scott. I'll be giving 16 color commentary, all for this, folks. Now, remember the rules, as are stated on this tape, are that each person has 9 discs. Those 9 discs are going to be various games made to boot up. We have tested them to our best knowledge. It works. We will have 1,000 things go wrong, but hopefully 10,000 things go right. The contestants can choose which discs they want to go after. It would help me if you shouted out the name, if you shouted out the label before booting, just because then I can know who's going to what. And if any of you have any question, like, am I doing this? Is this what you meant? Please feel free to ask. All right, so have all of you signed the waivers, said goodbye to family and friends, thought about your lives that got you to this moment, reconsidered all the choices you've made, called people you hate to tell them you love them? All right, okay, that's all underway. Awesome. Welcome to the very first Kansasfest Marathon. And let's get a big cheer for our warriors who stood up and went into the abyss. Fantastic. This is either, as has been said before many things, this is either going to be awesome or tragic. Please try to show support regardless. The camera can shut up. All right. Warriors, put your discs in the drive. And when I count to... I'm fascinated. You know, this is a standard Kansas Fest nightmare. You have a dream that everyone's booting up a disk and yours doesn't go in. It's not working. You're just trying. It gets worse. You get sweaty. Were you handed a bum horse for the race? I'm so glad I asked to do this first, because it would have, well, I mean, actually, it would have been hilarious. I would have actually. Are you sure there's no disk in that drive? Ah, the second most favorite Apple II activity, repairing your Apple II. This is, yeah. Well, hey, we figure that's why we're in the beta run. Anyway, if watching somebody slowly trying to repair an Apple II isn't riveting for you, you really came to the wrong building.
What if the repair is riveting it?
What if the repair is riveting?
I think Chris is playing Learn Everything about the disc. Wait, let me try that. Hold on, I'm going to try that.
Go ahead.
Well, I think if one disc isn't going in, they're all not going in.
Oh, turn the disc over. We learned that earlier.
I'm giving this, I don't know, 10 more seconds. And I'm going to call you, I'm going to call you disqualified for the first round of contestants. No, because we're going to move on to the next thing. Live the horror. Unless we can come up with a secondary machine to come riding in, I'm not going, otherwise you can't play. It's not possible. Can a drive be hooked up to an Apple IIc to make it load in and boot off it? I don't think you can. I am fascinated. Come on in. I want to make Chris happy, or. Oh, I'm fat. Okay, here we go. Dun 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 dun. Will Chris Torrance get to play? Well, we'll see right now. Is Chris? What is this world? Nope, not come out. Okay, all right. Apple II, dependable, lovable. A strong community to help you repair it, using the standard method of throwing the entire thing out and letting somebody else do the work for you. No, this is good. I'm telling you. This is the greatest 5 minutes in Apple II esports. Can you, wait, do the number one check. Does a disk fit in the drive? Because that's a major requirement. Does a, what? How are you missing a disk? Is the, no? It's in the second drive.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, don't start it yet. No, turn it off, you piker. Cheater, disqualified. All right, once again, I have to ask, okay, are all the warriors ready? Put your hand up if you're ready to go, if you feel you're ready to play this game. Okay, can I get a cheer from the audience for the brave warriors and the things they're doing? Fantastic. Okay, well, so warriors, start your apples. All right. So let's start booting those games. Let's see what everyone is playing. No, I want that afterwards. I want for each other. Oh. We got. Okay. I see that Chris Torrance is playing Lose to the Eagle. Ken is required to know your disk drive. We have another stuck in the mud, if somebody wants to help Adrian. We have Get Lamp. We have Slither to round 2, which I mean beat 1 round. The battle has begun. Ken is learning about disk drives. All right. Back in the race. There you go. Continue. You have to lose to the eagle. All right, the fight's begun. We're seeing some good fighting here. Have you gotten the lamp? Okay.
Got lost in the forest and then rebooted.
And rebooted. I've had many a weekend go that way. All right. This game is going along pretty well. Chris is truly a warrior, going after taking on next guy. Battle's begun over here in this green paradise. Have you played Karateka before?
I never played it on my original system, but I have played it on emulators.
Okay. That's a good start. Ken continues to learn about the disk drive. Kate continues to try to get the lamp. Well now. Oh, spoilers. The fight's going on here. I think we're gonna I'm
Take lamp. She's disqualified.
I'm going to allow this dialect change. Kate has successfully gotten 1 point. She has gotten the lamp. Put that aside in some way. I'm not sure how to do what do we want to do best. It's like, do we want to do it with like the things not in or whatever, or just sort them behind the machines? Okay, Kevin, you are officially my bit here. Once again, Ken is still learning about the disk drive. Adrian is making a sear, and he's just destroying some dojo.
Tell me a disk drive fact, Ken. There are 16 sectors, and yeah, there you go. Thank you. What if there's 13 or 18 sectors? Did you? I'm not sure. I tried, but I don't think I got it.
Okay.
What's wrong with my disk, boss?
We tested all these discs, but drive might be a little off, and we will deal with this. So if we start finding that, we will swap discs around as people complete things. So just hop to the next thing. This is fascinating. I am learning a lot about the build quality of these 40-year-old Apple IIs. You finished the lesson?
Yes.
You've learned about the disk drive. Another point for Ken. All right, put it behind the machine, and then choose another random one.
I have just lost a crush. I'm so sad.
If you run into any problems, always be sure to try another game. Do not let yourself get knocked over. I am fully allowing IT support, however, to game support, perhaps not. But we'll see. Maybe people need help. Oh, the sound is going on.
Stereo.
Ken has now decided to get the lamp. Let's see that speed run. Oh, there's a pit stop over here. 1 point over here is working on her machine. So we have repairs being done on the fly. I will not be satisfied until at least 3 of the machines are actual smoking wrecks. Actual sizzle down to 0. What now? What's not working? Yeah. Get ready to serve. Serve 2 rounds. The run continues for Chris. Ken is now in the forest. He has cleared greetings. He's tried to go to the mountains. He's gone everywhere. Here's a songbird. Meanwhile, Adrian is just fighting those guys in the light of the mountain. Lovely. Was that round 1? Oh, nope, you're still going. Okay, that's fine. How many people here have played Tapper? Beautiful classic, translated from the original arcade machine. Done very well. It's essentially a rhythm game. Serve those drinks?
First time playing.
Well, yes, and absolutely, one of the ideas is that people are rediscovering controls. That is definitely meant to be part of the problem. So. Ken is going to some exciting distances. This fight continues. Chris is still fighting. There you go. You got A and Z, the old standards. Now you just got to figure out how to fill up and send yourself a drink.
I typed tier number 6, and it went to 80 column mode.
We've all been there. We've all been to 80 column mode. Oh, he has entered the dojo. Rainbow? That's yeah. Look at you, you're a monster. You're taking this guy out. Almost.
I gotta do it for the views.
Yeah. Ken, where have you gone? Send a postcard. Send a postcard to Enchanter. Wish you were here. Oh. What is this? The princess realizes you're coming to save her? Little does she know you're not.
I'm just trying to play a game.
You're just trying to lose to an eagle.
Yes.
All you got to do is lose to an eagle, and we're.
Which I'm probably going to do.
Yes. Oh, but you definitely want to lose to the eagle. You have it's a marathon, not a race. Camera's panning too fast. There you go. You're getting it. You got the rules. Hmm?
Was Tapper finished 2?
2 rounds. So that's 1 round.
No, I don't know what it's doing. I don't know, something got hot on the way out here.
Or something to do with that emulator or the
What? Oh,
the dial on the back?
what's that on the back?
There's not a dial on the back.
I don't have any other screen for this thing. And the screen, that's working. This is working. It all worked when I left the house.
Close. All right. In the dojo. Here it is. Boom, lose to the eagle. Good job, Adrian. Point for you. Put the disc behind the machine. And awesome. What did you choose?
I choose, I think is Tavern, I think. I don't know.
Dig yourself out of round one.
Dig yourself out of round one.
Here comes the eagle. Right into it.
Up. Oh, Chris lost to the eagle. Awesome. Drop that one. Good job.
So everybody's on the board.
That's how it works. We'll have to.
Try a different disc. Oh, you have, okay. Gosh. Can you try a different drive? Yeah.
Oh, no, you're in Fancy Pants
Daddy's
Mark
on-
Pilgrim mode.
Did I do something wrong?
Try, what did you do before?
I turned the thing off now.
Turn it off and turn it. Will reset when it starts to boot, and then knock yourself over to.
When it starts to boot?
Yeah, and then hit PR number 6. That's what we have found works. Let it go to one more hit. There. Then PR number 6. Okay. No problem. What was the clue? The clue was dig yourself. So right now you're set to 16 megahertz, which I suggest against doing. How else is he going to learn? Oh man, just like the classic. Look at that.
Learn about
All these kids in there is 60 frames per second. We'll show you how it works. This is
So turn it back off?
you're good. Try it again, pure number 6. Try C600G.
C6.
No, you gotta go into the monitor. So try that. Now C600G. See if that works.
Well, assuming it works.
That's 2 rounds. I'm good. Got it.
You got it? Okay, successful serve of 2 rounds. Awesome.
I got something running.
We're learning a lot about these machines, aren't we? That's round 1. You have to do 2 rounds. You did. Then you're done. Awesome. 1 round went down to Ken. Ken is now another point ahead. Lovely. Place it behind there. Adrian is now learning about the disk drive. Learn about the disk drive. People are really learning about the disk drive.
Complete mission 1.
There. Now, learn your disk drive. Woo! All right. Close that out. Take that point. Yep, you did it. You hit the end of the lesson. He learned about the disk drive. All right. How are we doing for points, Paul? Why don't you look at the discs? The disc, count the discs.
Kate has 2. I've got 1. We have 1 here.
1, 2, 1. Where's Chris at?
I'm at 2.
2, 3, 1. Ooh, it's coming down.
Who has 3? Is it the lead?
Ken. Ken's currently in the lead. This is Paul. Paul gone wild. That's how you fix a 2C. Spike that little sucker.
That's the one that doesn't. And 1, 2, 8, like I said, I think my disk drive might just need to be a
You finished mission 1? Okay. That's it. Doug, yep. Okay. Ken is making a move. He solved another one.
Slither to level 2.
He's up to Slither to level 2. What's he up to, 0.4 out of 9? My goodness. My goodness.
Level 2 or just finish level 1?
It's get to level 2. They are at various ranges of difficult and not difficult. Selected by a committee of 1. Implemented by a committee of 1.
It worked though for what, the first 2? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was my problem too. It works, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going through the ones that work.
And we are learning a
I think whoever gets to 5 first should be forced to switch computers with someone else.
Ooh. Buckle that swash to 20.
It's the disc that works.
Buckle that swash to 20. These were all written using the same disk drive on the same machine and tested. Still learning, I see. Yes. Underneath the protecting cover is the sector index.
It takes a while to load.
It is not known for its incredibly fast machine.
But nothing's happening?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, all your machines are like incredible Lovecraftian horror. I don't even... Look at this horrifying combination of new and old technology and this bizarre signed runes, and I don't even know. That's an entire anime series right there. And then over here, this kid is staring into a monitor that's coming out of a school that hasn't gotten funding for 4 years. Ken is, of course, going after Serpentine. Yeah. Yeah, no, you ever see The Matrix, like when Neo blinks because he learns Kung Fu? That's what you're doing right now. Except for disk drives. And then I just turned on your disk drive. Pressed return to turn off the drive.
What if the get lamp one or the
Thank you.
Did you say enter the cave?
Enter the cave, no magic.
No magic. I'm in.
You're in?
Yep.
Okay, Chris has gotten into the cave, no magic. Which one is this? Win one mission, one round. Just one simple round. What now? You finished them all?
No.
Okay.
Just that one.
You finished that one.
I finished that one. That's
Okay, that's 3. Okay, I was worried about myself, my ability to watch this. I'm barely a referee. At best, I'm a commentary. Oh, 1 round. Dig yourself out. What's your score now? Where are you?
I got like 2.
You got 2, and you're working on number 3. This, see right here. This is classic, vintage. Young kid uses Apple II. Look at this. Look at this sock drawer, all discs in every direction. All right, Chris is taking on Load Runner. The fight's begun over here. The swashbuckle fight. If anyone remembers swashbuckle, they probably remember it like a sad memory they have to bring back. How you doing? You're up to 6. 20. That's not a small amount. Some of these are very easy. Some of these are not very easy. It is unusual that it is doing this. That's definitely weird. It should be moving. Games should be moving. I'm going to put my foot firm on that. You ever play Load Runner? It's a classic. It's a classic. What was that?
Shouldn't have
Yeah, these NASCorp computers have really not worked out for us. I'm going to enjoy my NASCorp soda. See, that's normal with a star field that moves. That's its slogan. It's normal with a star field. 9. Yeah, that's a little weird. Level 2, you made it. Awesome. Chris makes another one. Chris is up to 4. 4 out of 9. I believe Ken is still ahead, unless you want to come over and do your job as assistant and figure it out yourself. I mean, I'm happy either way. Picking up your slack is my hobby.
I feel like that's true. Ken has also completed 4, so it's a tie.
It's a tie. We're at 4 and 4. 4 and 4 out of 9. You are definitely racing this race with 3 tires, Kate. So keep that in mind when you're fighting it, because that's definitely the situation.
What, that my computer has decided to
Well, there's a challenge there, yeah.
poop the bed on me?
Yep. 15. 15 swashes. Oh, Ken is now up to 5? 5. Ken is now at 5. Chris is buckling the swash. He is at 1 out of 20. 17. And this game is still continuing to frustrate and amaze. Still the best wipe screen in gaming. Oh, 19 out of 20. Oh, now that's a setback. That hurts where the dreams die. Okay. The game begins. There you go, you're learning. See? You make the hole, they fall in the hole, you walk over them. It's the corporate life in one small swoop. Good job there. Over here, Ken's serving alcohol to minors. Torrance is continuing to shoot. We got 2. Figuring out the keys is half the problem. No instruction manual. Just like your friend gave you the disc and you're too scared to ask for help. We have this fight going on here. We're at 6 buckles swashed. We're at 14 buckles swashed. You beat 2 rounds.
I did, but I like the bonus round.
But you like the bonus round. Now that's just being showy. Unbelievable.
All right, I finished tapping.
Awesome. Ken is now finished tapper.
All right, there's 20.
And there's 20. Chris is finished swashing those buckles. So put that sucker away. That puts, let's see, is it still 5 to 5? Is that what's going on here? What are you at? You're at 5, and Ken, I believe, is at 5. 6. Ken is at 6. We have a 6 and a 5 and a 1, I believe, and a 2 and a heart made of gold. 2. So very interesting for various values of interesting. What are you now doing, Ken?
Trying to figure out how to reboot out of Tapper.
How to reboot out of Tapper, my favorite game. You're trying to get the lamp. Let's see that speed run.
So those other guys will be stealing the boxes, so you have to kind of. That's why you gotta get rid of them. But they'll regenerate still, but somebody drop the box. Yeah, they drop the box if you.
Every machine contains additional challenges. They've been modded to the point that it's like a Volkswagen that goes to space. People are discovering speed-ups, hacks, chips, 1,000 damaged circuits trying their best to make old things run.
20.
20. We have 20 buckles swashed. Awesome. 2. And you got the lamp. Awesome. My goodness. So now it's starting to feel a little bit like it's going to come down to Ken versus Chris. Just have to achieve level 2 and then you're done. Achieved the level 2. You've gotten it. Awesome. Okay, that puts you at 3 points, 3 points, 2 points. What are you at, you monster? 6. And you, Ken? 6.
I got the lamp.
He got the lamp. But I mean, again, you got to make considerations. European rules. Wimbledon finals. You got to do what you got to do. Time to get to the next mission on Star Blazer. Woo! Hey, feedback from the audience. How? Okay, let's go with this. I'm going to go from 1 to 10. If 1 is, I can't believe I'm still here. 10 is, this is the greatest moment of my young life. Start clapping. Clap when I go by your number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I don't know how to read that. That's weird. That's creepy. All right, well, okay, I got what I got, which is that there seems to be a bell curve of happiness that starts around, it's nice to be near people, followed by the people who are like, I love everything. And so that's fine. Okay, so I will definitely want feedback for what makes this better, what makes it worse. The thing about esports is it's a bunch of people using machines really hard. And what makes that interesting? What doesn't make that interesting? So I want to know. The commentary is important. So at that point, you're all doomed. But Kate's on a new machine. She has been swapped off. She is now going after. We're now at Serpentine. We've got Star Blazer. He's out of fuel. He has not gotten the mission. Ken is looking at a machine that seems to have the booted up DeLorean. I normally wouldn't allow hints, but at this point I understand people want the progress to continue. But we'll figure that out later. Endless audience cheating ruined spirit of prediction, says in the final report card. Ken is now entering adventure. He has to get into the cave, no magic.
What percentage of 2Cs has gone up quite a bit since when we started?
What?
The percentage of 2Cs has gone up quite a bit.
It's very interesting, isn't it? It's fun when you start out with 4 kids and you end with 3 kids. It's weird. Good road trip. We'll have to remember that. The 2C only competition next year, only to be done. Kate is taking on the Serpent. A voice from above says, press K.
I did press K.
Uh-oh. Yeah, apples. Intuition personified.
Allowing lowercase letters would have taken 2 extra bytes.
2. Where is the radar? Go to the building. Oh, you're going to try to buckle the swash? That's a tough one. Take it on. Take it on carefully. Get lamp, get the food. Swashbuckler. I prefer it in the original green. I love that art. Yeah. So when I started this thing, it was at 5. We're at about minute 32. So, and we have, I believe, we have 3 and 2.
Yay, mission complete.
Mission complete. Chris has now jumped up to be next I believe, to Ken, or are the two of them still neck and neck? Is it a tie? Oh, actually, no, because now Chris is going for the last one of two. It's really looking like it's going to be these two gentlemen head-to-head trying to deal. I'm fascinated to see where that goes. How do you move? What do you think makes you move? This is... Did anyone ever see Seven Samurai? When Toshiro Mifune is on his knees crying, "This child is me," that's what's happening right now. This is me, him. This is me when I'm like 11 going, "Why doesn't it move? Stupid swashbuckler, what is this? This isn't fun." Why does it not move? So Chris is fighting he is fighting Serpentine, and then he has to play Tapper. Meanwhile, Ken is on Adventure, has to buckle a swash and lose to the Eagle. Ooh. Are you learning about the disk drive, Kate?
Yeah, I'm learning about this.
Awesome. Have you you notice that it's really whitewash. They really don't talk about all the terrible parts of disks, how they don't work, how it doesn't plug in.
You should have Mark Pilgrim rewrite this.
Mark Pilgrim should rewrite this from scratch. Except it'll be learn about the effing disk drive. That'll be, and it'll just go downhill from there until it's a final rant that just ends with him going, endless keyboard that looks like somebody's hitting it.
Puny drive.
Would you like instructions?
DOS. Pronounced DOS.
There you go, just to level 2. Level 2, Chris has made it.
Turned on my disk drive.
Oh, good. Press enter.
Turning on my disk drive.
There you go. Thank you. You have learned about the disk drive, Kate. Excellent. Kate's trying to make up for lost time after resting over with the resting with the daisies there. I figured she was completely out, but she's gonna place. That's exactly what I wanted out of this. Children killing people. That was my hope. You got to believe in yourself and then be happy when others do as well. Tapper versus Adventure. The old rivalry is back. Ken has 2 discs. Chris is on to his last one. Now, as designated by the rules that I said before, there's the mystery game where the top 2 people will fight head-to-head for the final victory. So it's looking very much like Chris is well on his way to being the first challenger. I never know how to play this. There's Serpentine and Serpentine. I believe in you, Kate. Just keep fighting. Keep fighting. Don't count your disk drives before they're cracked. Is the commentary on the YouTube channel as stellar as I'm sure it is? Is it?
We got one question. What are we watching?
Awesome. Tell him that we're friends of Ninja and we've taken over his channel. Haha, I'm hot with the kids.
Yeah, you're totally cool with the kids, man.
No.
How does this compare to the comment you get on your live switching of imaging Apple discs?
Well, same thing. What's happening here? What am I doing?
How do I know when I'm not in the cave yet, am I?
Did you go through the grading?
Yeah?
Then you're in the cave.
Oh,
All right, get out of there.
all right.
Get out of that dump. All right, he's done it. All right, 2 more. Buckle the swash to 20 or lose to the Eagle.
All right. How do I? Oh, how did I do that?
Chris is still. Is this your second round? Oh, hi. Kate is still
Hey, Ken, you
fighting the serpents.
4 minutes because you're nuts.
Ooh. What?
He was at 19 when they got him. Somebody went for a crazy adapter.
What?
Adrian was at 19 out of 20 when they got him. What happened?
Really? Were you at 19?
I was at 19 and then I just really just.
Are the other contestants fine with me just giving that one to Adrian? All right, the other, so you got it.
Yay! Whoa!
I got news for you. I never got to 19 before I was 48 years old, so you're way ahead of me on my schedule. Great job. How many points you got there, Adrian? 3? Awesome. We got 3. We've got 7. Oh. He's on his last. He's got 8 points. He's shooting for 9. That will put him, you stupid spider, is acceptable.
What level are we supposed to get to?
You're supposed to finish 2 rounds.
And what's a round?
A round is when he's really proud of himself and takes a drink. So that was round 1.
This is round 1.
Now you got to do round 2.
Round 2's hard.
There you go. We may have the first person going through. A little buckle of swashing going on over here. See, what I love about Tapper is it's really easy except for when it's not. That's what's so spectacular. People will go in and... Another question I ask myself all the time.
Is that it?
That's it. All right. So Chris is the first one through the finish line for the 9. So we have our first head-to-head contestant. You need to get watered down. Gatorade on your head.
I need your blood pressure cuff, I think.
You want my blood pressure cuff? Awesome. How does it feel? What's your you're sweating? Nerve-wracking?
Yeah.
Was it an exciting set?
It was very exciting.
It's a very exciting set with the clues relatively clear.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. You didn't drink out of the coffee machine in the hotel room? Good, good. Never do that. Never do that. Good. So what we're going to do now is you take a break.
Okay,
So
good.
you are the first.
Elaborate on the-
You take a rest, whatever you need to do. You need to go speak to your sponsors. And then you're going to be competing against whoever the second person through the gate is. So Chris, so you are still currently tied for second. You will be competing for first. Also, you will be one of the 2 head-to-head machines as you have a joystick. Kate is going after Serpentine. Kate has figured out Serpentine. Remember, only one. Did you win it? Did you get... Okay, but you entered your initials?
I got the high score screen.
Okay, all right. Take your victories where you get it. What? I mean, the buckles of the swashing continue. You are at 9.
It's just slow. There you go.
There you go.
Here, try E and C. See if that.
Try the caps lock key. Always try the caps lock key. Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Everybody's learning. Always try the caps lock key.
Maybe spacebar? Yes, there
The
you go.
buckles swashing at 12.
So go to each one, hit spacebar, slide your finger.
It's still anybody's game. Ken is still 3 games away, or 2 games away.
They're going to send their empty bottles back, and you got to catch them before they fall
Oh,
off.
so this is this button.
Keep going. So keep doing what you were doing. Spacebar. Yep.
Now remember, they're serving root beer. It's a root beer tapper. Totally apple juice.
I like this kid's style.
Yeah.
Going places.
What, tapper? Just missed it? It's always interesting what people see and what they miss. Like they get these different pieces.
Level 2.
Level 2. Okay, Kate's gone best level 2. Okay. Kate has 5. We've got 5. We've got 2. We've got, I believe, 6 working on 7. And we have over here 3 working on 4. It's still anybody's game. There's a non-zero chance Ken's about to hit a wall. Level 20, he has buckled the swash. So now it just comes down to Ken needs to lose to the eagle. Save the best for last, said the body. That should be a good epitaph. I saved the best for last. The fight's begun to lose to the eagle. Awesome. Serpentine. Monstrosity. Look at this monstrosity. The things you have to switch and do that. Some weird thing. You know, the scary part is I wonder if you can set it to half speed. Oh, that's pretty good. It's like playing a game where somebody has to pull the steroid needle out of their arm to compete. You know, they're like, wait a minute, boink! Okay, now it's not helping me. I'm going to go for a run now. This terrifying Frankenstein machines are my favorite. Oh, you're getting it though. You learned the game already. For instance, one of the rules is always use the caps lock key, and you got it. If you keep running into problems, you might want to switch to Chris's machine, which has been proven to be a winner. Possibly. Okay. Exciting. This competition for second place is hotter than we expected. Did he do it? He did it. 2 rounds. Awesome.
Can I destroy the disc?
What?
Can I destroy the disc?
I mean, if you, is that important to you? Do you have to destroy the things that you love? Okay, all right. Just making sure. Just making sure. Oh, and we're going to learn about the disk drive.
Appropriate.
Good. Get a little disk drive lesson. I think it already gave you a little lesson. I think it gave you these machines are spanking people. I just wanted the games to be hard, not the machines they ran on.
I don't like that there's no blocks in this game.
No blocks.
No blocks.
No instant replay.
Karateka has no blocks.
Ha! Speed run. Speed run. Super speed run. There we go.
All about that APM, baby.
Right there. Here we go. He's learning. There's no quiz. There's no test. If there was one, yeah, it would be pretty bad, wouldn't it?
Well, good thing there isn't.
Yeah. Oh, speed run strats.
Can we do Apple games done quick?
Next year.
Next year, speed running. Oh, the learning. You can do it. It's pronounced DOS.
Waiting for it.
Thank you. You've learned about the disk drive. 45 seconds, no scope, 360.
Just be one task, print a greeting card with print shop.
Oh, just for the record, yeah, one of my planned ones was to add up the numbers 6, 5, 0, and 2 in VisiCalc. But I decided, I know, people have different things. All right, we're swapping machines to try to deal with a smoking husk. So far, 2 machines have fallen by the wayside. They are totally on fire. Oh man, we have destroyed 3 apples. That's a fair price. That's a pretty fair price. Are there any other questions from the YouTube streamers? Do the YouTube streamers have any other important things to let us know? What? What's going on? Oh, I see. All right, a little TLC. All right.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, there we go. Like, share, subscribe. Exactly. Next time, we'll just have everyone have stickers and jackets with logos. Exactly. Again, if the thing takes off and there's like large people competing, you can have little signs next to your little desk saying you're competing from whatever. I'm not sure everyone here wants to capture these performances forever for their future.
You can pull down to drop.
Who needs the ladder when you can take the express? God, I've completed so many projects and dug myself into a hole and hid. Ken, meanwhile, continues his fight to the dojo to lose to the eagle. This is coming close. This is some coming close. It's looking very much like Ken may be the guy, but first he has to lose to the eagle. And then over here, the fight begins. Oh, that hurts. That hurts every time it happens. Jordan's giggling in France. It giggles. It giggles. If you follow Jordan Mechner's Twitter, by the way, it is primarily him doing sketches of Paris. So, living best life. How many people here have seen the Prince of Persia movie with Jake Gyllenhaal? How many people have seen posters of the movie? How many people here know who Jake Gyllenhaal is? So when Tony and I were imaging the discs for the Prince of Persia project, Jordan said, "Hey, let me show you my favorite Prince of Persia artifact." And I said, "Sure." And on his phone, he had a photo of him and Jake Gyllenhaal and one of the producers with cigars and vodka in a Russian underground vodka bar during the tour for Prince of Persia movie. He's like, "That's my favorite moment." Ken is in the dojo. He's the worst thing to happen to this dojo. I forgot that you heal.
Yeah, so did I.
Like Halo. Exactly like Halo. Oh.
Where do you think Halo got it?
Where do you think Halo got it from Karateka? I think this moment is about to happen. And Ken has lost to the eagle. All right. Hands off keyboards unless you're Adrian, then play all you want, kid. But we now have our two competitors. They are Ken and Chris. Let me, you want to fetch that disc from me? A couple discs right there. Well, yeah, they're going to be on different, I see different computers. You want to mess them up. Sure, why not? Sure, why not? Ken, you'll sit here, and Chris, you'll sit here. Where's Chris? Did he run off? Is he retching in a corner? Okay, there you are. Oh, that's right, you're helping the children grow like seedlings. All right, so awesome. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, and how long did that take? What time is it? Okay, so according to my thing, it took us 52 minutes to run this gauntlet. Well, I was trying to calculate that in. So that's very informative. You did it. Awesome. So, all right, so our two competitors are Chris and Ken. They've never met, so that adds to the spice. These two gentlemen will be trying to compete. One of them is going to be second place, and one of them is going to be first place. I personally don't subscribe to the theory that first place or second place is first loser. I think it's actually fair. But I do want to see each of you win. There's no way to tie. So each of you take a disc. The disc. The hint is rescue one embassy, lose no one. No, you're not playing Rusky Duck. I'm a nice man. Okay. There you go. Control reset. All right. Ah. All right. So you're in there. You're in there. He's booting. You go ahead and boot, Ken. Here we go.
Are there any tricks for this machine?
Nope. Okay. That one just.
All right. So, ye old classic, I want to see you take all those folks home.
Leave no one behind.
First sortie, all you got to do is take everyone home. Here we go. It's pretty simple so far. We're seeing we're seeing that somebody had a few drinks before he got into the helicopter. Ken is raining down damage and death on nothing. This is fantastic. Also raining down damage and death. Ken has ruined some hearts. This is going on. Oh, somebody is gathering up some people. He's gathering up some people. People, don't leave anyone behind. Very nice. Take everyone home.
Oh no, I've never done that. Somebody died.
No, not all 64.
From one building or for the whole round?
Just from one building.
One building. So the whole embassy. I think Ken just got the whole embassy. I think Ken's got to take them home.
And one person died.
One person did die. You can't do that.
So we have to
Yeah,
so
but
I
you
can
got.
rescue 16 people then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got the idea. So you figured out how it's going to work out. And how many of you have you rescued? 16, or how many of you rescued? 16. Okay. Well, it looks like. Boom. All right. He did it. First place, second place. We have this wonderful moment shared by everyone. Fantastic. This concludes the first, possibly the only, but maybe just the first marathon. I would love to discuss with people in email or the Slack ways to improve, to modify, to make better. Like I said, what the other ones do is they tend to have one game head-to-head with the Warriors and then move on to the next one and the next one. We could always have something like that. I just want us to have a good time, to be involved and do good things. So thanks for everyone for doing this. Especially thank you not only to the management staff, but also to everyone who brought the machines down and did this into the darkness, trying to get it working. And please, a second of silence for the machines we destroyed along the way. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. And now donuts upstairs. If you'd like any games you want, if